Hello, everybody. Thank you so much to Beth Grant for joining us today, one of the stars of the new AMC hit show, Mayfair Witches. Thank you, Beth, for joining us.
Oh, I'm so thrilled to be here.
So tell us a bit, what's been the main element in Carlotta's character and the show in general that fascinates you the most and drew you to join Mayfair Witches?
Oh, well, I would say, Alexandra Daddario, for one thing. I just think she's wonderful. I had fallen so in love with her. And when they said she was doing Rowan, that was very attractive. And then, of course, the novels are so loved. And the character, Carlotta, I just knew her. I can't even explain it. I had a visceral reaction when I read her. I said, oh, yeah. It's like the magic if they talk about in acting, if I were that person, because she is not a witch and she is fighting the devil and trying to protect her family. And I understand that. I understand that I would go to any lengths to protect my family. So it was very easy, frighteningly easy for me to get into her character. And I mean, to her, her means justify the ends, She does some terrible things. She's led astray in her efforts, but I do believe that she is doing what she feels is right.
Absolutely. And considering also there's, besides the magical side of the story, there are Mayfair Witches is talking about humans and relationship between also people. And
Yes.
on a personal level, in your opinion, where are you and Carlotta most similar and where are you two most different?
Well, I think she has a very deep sadness and loneliness. And even though I'm an extrovert and gregarious and an actress, I am that way too. I have a side of me that really no one sees and is sad and lonely. And I guess one of the questions is, did Lasher come to her or didn't he? I don't know. And so is this feminine revenge or is this protecting her family? I mean, I'll let the audience decide. But I think that when I was growing up, I didn't look like the other girls. And I have this square jaw and this chin and a nose. And I was different than the pretty girls, popular girls, and I felt the pain of that. And, you grow up and you figure out how to, even befriend those girls and so on and so forth. But you always carry that pain with you, I think, of being different.
Yes,
And I think that that's Carlotta.
absolutely.
She's super smart. I mean, she's an attorney and she's a brilliant woman. Or she's a retired attorney, I guess, at this point. But uh, yeah, I think that she still holds that pain of not being one of the witches, not being one of them. And
Absolutely. And for all the people that haven't watched the first episodes yet, how would you describe Mayfair Witches if you had just like 3 words?
it's the story of a brilliant young surgeon finding out who she is and the power that she has and how to control it.
Well, I think that's a perfect sentence for to describe this
Oh,
series.
good. I wasn't expecting that.
And in the first episode, we've seen, as you already mentioned, Carlotta like living to protect her family from suffering and pain from Lasher. And what can you tease about her, and what can people expect from her arc in future episodes?
Ooh, will she be able to stop Lasher? That's the question. I would also hope, or I would ask the question, uh, will you be able to understand Carlotta as the series progresses? I would tease, I would hope that I have revealed.
No, but that's actually a great question. I think that all the viewers out there have asked themselves this question.
I'm sure she's not very popular.
No, not
I'm
much.
sure people are like,
Yeah,
evil Carlotta. But I don't view her that way. I love her. I really don't view her that
yeah,
way.
as you said before, I think that her means are justified considering what her family's been through, and I
Yeah.
think that everyone standing in their clothes would do the same to protect their family.
Yeah.
And talking about in the acting level,
Yes.
what's been the biggest challenge for you in portraying Carlotta Mayfair?
Oh my goodness. Biggest challenge. Well, I guess I could say honestly, appearing as I do. I am a woman. And I want people to think that, I'm beautiful and sexy. And, when we were developing the character, first thing I did was to talk to Esther Spalding, the writer showrunner, and try to understand her point of view. And then I talked to the hair person, Jane, and talked to her about, what she looked like physically. And then more and more, I started to know that I was going to have to go there. And we did very little makeup. We didn't hide my flaws. The costumer, Janie, oh, just so brilliant. And we went dowdy, I think Carlotta's not, she's, I think, could be an attractive woman,
Yeah.
but she suppresses herself. She suppresses that part of herself, her sexuality, her femininity. So, we have those shoes, the, comfort shoes, orthopedic shoes, and the suits that kind of boxy. And, you know, um, those were, I guess, if my feminine ego had to be put aside to make those choices. And when I saw the first episode and the first shot of me, I screamed. I was watching with my husband and I
I
went,
feel
oh,
you.
oh my God. Not only is Carlotta scary and you realize what that girl's up against, but then for myself, I went, oh my God, I did that.
Yeah, all the credits goes to the hair and makeup team. I mean, they did an incredible job, but I think with all the characters in the show, I mean,
Yes.
outstanding.
Everybody. And everybody is unique, which doesn't always happen. A lot of times with shows, you see the same curly Q
Yeah,
hairdo on everybody.
that's true.
It drives me nuts. And everybody is unique. Everybody, the character with the costumes. And it's so bold, Alexandra's costumes, that she's a troubled girl. If even from the very beginning, she's, promiscuous. Well, I don't think women today call it promiscuous. That's my generation. That's Carlotta. But, she's searching for her identity so desperately. And, that she wears tennis shoes and she's pajamas and she's, I just love her. I love that. That's an actress who really will go there. I loved working with her and Annabeth Gish, both of them. Just such strong, powerful women. And, they gave as I gave. We were toe to toe and I just loved it.
And
Just loved
since we're talking about your relationship with your co-stars on the show, talking about the environment on set, how would you describe your experience working on this show
Oh,
with your co-stars, but also with the crew?
well, it's just fabulous. I mean, I know I don't want to sound like a goody two shoes because God knows Carlotta is not that, but It was fabulous. I had a huge crush on the camera operator. I'm happily married. He's happily married, but we just had a chemistry, which is so important. You don't always get it. You can figure it out, but it's so great when it happens. I knew what he was doing, how he was covering me. I could feel him. But the whole crew, the DPs, the ADs, I had worked with Doug Carter on The Rookie, the Dennis Quaid movie, also produced by Mark Johnson, by the way. Mark Johnson, I did Rain Man, which won, 4 Oscars, Best Picture, so on and so forth. Then I did The Rookie, which was one of the highest ever Disney live action movies.
That's so true.
And now Mayfair Witches. So we got a good thing going.
Oh, yeah.
But, the producers, the writers, I mean, it was fabulous. And the health and safety people, because it's in the middle of a pandemic. And New Orleans numbers were quite high when we were there. And, I'm an older lady, and they took care of me. They made sure I was safe, that me, they were just lovely. I loved everybody. Our directors were fabulous. I mean, it was really dreamy working. It was challenging sometimes for me, with the heat and the fact that the numbers were so high, but it all melted away when I was on the set. It was just dreamy.
That's so beautiful to hear, because as you probably know, not all the sets are like this. I mean, there's not always this family environment, this beautiful environment.
Well, it starts at the top, and I think AMC was so they were going to make sure that health and safety was good for all of us, and Jeff Freelick, who was one of our executive producers, who worked so closely with all of us and AMC, and he was there. He was on set all the time, paying attention. And then Esther was there, Michelle was there, the writers were there. It was just, they cared about us. And it does start at the top. It does.
Absolutely.
And but then it was all the way down the line, every single person. And so I felt very fortunate.
Do you have any fun anecdotes to share with us from the experience of filming Mayfair Witches?
Well, let's see. I took my little dog, Addie. It's like I'm playing the evil witch, and I've got my little dog, Toto. I've got my little dog, Addie, with me. And she became quite loved, by the crew.
Yeah.
And they would open the door, and she would just get so excited to see different people, and she reacted to different people.
She was like the mascot of the show.
I felt that. I it seemed like everybody loved her and called her by name, and gave her snacks. And so I don't have a specific story about her with them, but it was just a general welcoming every day when we got out of the car, and and my husband came too, and he felt like he was driving me. And he became, I think the Teamsters should let him in, because, they kindly let him drive me. And he said he felt like a Teamster by the end of it. He'd be sitting there waiting for me. And so it was a family affair. And we loved going to Audubon Park with Addie and throwing the ball to her and seeing the swan. We had a place that we went to where there was a swan that was there every day, and we got used to her. She got used to us. We could get very close, and there were ducks. And so there were a lot of fun things. And there's a place in New Orleans called The Fly, and that's sort of part of Audubon Park, but it's right on the Mississippi River. I guess it's a levee. And it's so beautiful. It has the most gorgeous sunsets. And so we took full advantage of that. We went to a beach in Mississippi and Gulfport. And, we explored the areas. Anytime I had a day off, we went somewhere. So, and all the galleries downtown, we were living in the Arts District. And, I'll tell you one funny story. One day, Lafayette Square was near where we were staying. We would take Addie there every day. We go there one day, and there is this huge sculpture gosh, I can't think of the name of it now, but it's a very famous sculpture, and it's an Afro pick, huge, with a peace symbol in at the top.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful, loving sculpture, but it came from nowhere. I mean, we were there the evening before.
Yeah.
We go the next day, and there it is. And it was a temporary installation, as it turns out. And there were
Oh,
big events around it. But
yeah.
that was pretty magical. We felt like something magical had happened. And we were eating outside one day and jog on Charles Street where the streetcar runs, and there came joggers. And when I say joggers, there were 5, there were 10, there were 20, there were 50, there were 100 joggers going by our table. I mean, those kind of just magical, unexpected events happen
Yeah.
every day.
I can
Something.
imagine that totally.
Yeah.
And now a little fun question that we always ask to the people we're interviewing, and considering we're talking about Mayfair Witches, it's on the Mayfair Witches universe. If you could choose another character from the show apart from Carlotta, a character that you would have loved to play if you could, which one would it be and why?
Oh my goodness, Lasher for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I would, it would be great to be immortal. I mean, I know it wouldn't really, it would really be tough, but the fantasy
Yeah, the
of being
fantasy element.
immortal, and the having lived through all those generations of people and experienced all those things, seen all those things, and then to be considered so sexy, and to be lurking in the shadows, and to be able to create so powerfully, he's kind of a sad figure, I guess, but dashing. I wouldn't mind being dashing.
And that's a great pick. I mean, that would be my answer, my pick as well. I would pick
Oh,
Slasher as well because it's such an interesting character with such a mysterious light around it, and incredible. And throwing back instead to the origins of your career as an actress, how did the passion for acting come about in your life?
oh, I think like so many actors, I wanted attention, I wanted love. And when I would show off, as my grandmother would call it, if I would sing a song or do a little dance, I would get yay. And my mother was infatuated with the movies. And I think she always wanted to be a movie star, but she didn't have the courage to pursue it.
Yeah.
And so I wanted her love, more than anything. And then it continued, doing theater and having an audience respond, and taking curtain calls and meeting people afterwards. And the fans of theater and movies and television are extraordinary. I mean, people that really pay attention and have a passion for whatever project it is that you're working on. Like, I'm now getting to know the Mayfair Witches fans, and oh my God, they're so smart and
Yeah.
interesting, and they're a dynamic group. They really, really are. And the messages that I'm getting are so wonderful. And people have reached out from all over the world. And so I'm very excited to meet a whole new group of people. I mean, it crosses over with some of my other projects, but yeah, I really love interacting with the fans.
And that's such a great thing for an actor. I mean, and not all actors like interacting with the fans, so it's a plus. I mean, as a human being.
Well, when we can share our love for the different characters and the stories, and that they understand what I'm doing. Someone wrote today and said, "Is Carlotta misunderstood?" And I wrote back, "Yes, she is misunderstood." And it touched
Definitely.
me. It touched me that he wrote that. So,
And among all the roles that you have the chance to play so far in your career, is there any particular one that you're mostly fond of?
other than Carlotta,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, she's the tippy top. I would say that. But along with Carlotta, I would say, Kitty Farmer and Donnie Darko. Um, I love all my characters. I mean, I remember once I was a guest at a film festival, and they put together this really fun montage of my different characters. It was just like boop, 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 like a little line here. And as I sat there and watched it, I felt I was visiting old friends. I felt like, oh, I remember her. I remember that. Oh, I forgot about her. And I felt love for each and every one. It sounds corny, but that's the truth.
Yeah, that's such a because you knew them, each one of them, and you had the chance to know them better and to explore their their soul. I mean,
Yes, that's right. You have to go to their soul. You
yeah.
have to, I mean, for me, I have to really understand and have empathy for them. I played some terrible characters, terrible. Um, but I never felt they were. I really didn't. You know, it's funny though, talking about Mark Johnson again, Rain Man and the Rookie would be on that list too. I love both of those characters. And I got to have a reunion with I had 6 children in Rain Man, and they lived near where we were shooting, near Oklahoma City. And I was there shooting nearby. And anyway, someone arranged it, and I was able to go to the house where we shot that scene in Rain Man and see those children grown up as adults
That's
and meet their
amazing.
wife. I mean, it was incredible. So I definitely have to put Rain Man there. And then The Rookie is just, I love baseball movies to begin with. And it's really one of the great baseball movies. And it's a true story. And I got to meet the actual woman I was playing. And so I would hold those up. So yeah, Mark, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
And now our final question. If you had the chance to give some advice to young people who want to pursue an acting career, or a career in entertainment in general, what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, I believe in studying, stay in a class your whole life if you can, and to um, build a support group, do theater and really hone your instrument, really learn your body. I'm still learning my body. I'm still like being able to see Carlotta, to see what we did and to see her body is fascinating to me. And I like that my body has changed over the years. And knowing your instrument, knowing your work on your voice, be able to have different voices for each character. Carlotta's voice is a lot deeper than mine, and I don't know if raspy is the right word, but she has a deeper voice,
Yeah.
and it just came to me. I mean, because I've worked, I'm so old, done so many things, but having control of your voice, taking a lot of voice classes, and being able, I'm a Southerner and I have a Southern accent, but I've done, Russian, German, I've done a Slovakian, I've done New York, I've done all these different accents. So to be able to do, the phonetic alphabet and be able to do different accents is a real plus.
Yeah.
And stay in shape. It is the Olympics. Being an actor, you have got to be strong and flexible, and you need to be in shape. Stay healthy, eat well, you know, don't drink and use drugs. I hate to say it now. I really am, Carlotta. But everything in moderation. But it's important to stay healthy because these are long days, hard days. And I like to do my own stunts when I can, and to be able to be, able to jump around and, do that kind of stuff. You got to be strong. So I still work out every single day. I walk, I do stretches, I do yoga.
Thank you so much, Beth. It was really, I think that many of our readers will enjoy this answer and will be inspired by it. And thank you.
Oh, thank you. Ciao, Bella.
Ciao. Your next language, the next language you'll be learning will be Italian.
Oh, I love Italian. My daughter's named Mary Elizabeth. And before we named her, I said, I want it to sound good in Italian. and we were over there visiting. I have a friend in Florence, and so we did learn well enough. But honestly, that was so long ago. It's been 30
Yeah.
years, so I want to go back. But we
Practice is fundamental with languages and also with accents and dialect.
Yeah, I've worked with a few Italian directors, and I worked in Bologna actually once too, and so I always wanted to go back and stay. I got an agent in Rome, and I was going to go and stay for a year, but we just never did it. We never had the courage to do it, but it's still a dream of mine, is to go and spend some.
Never say never.
Never say never. That's right.
So thank you again. It's been really a pleasure for me to be here and chat with you.
Well,
And
you're wonderful. You're a lovely person. I can see your sweet spirit. I see it.
let's remind people that Mayfair Witches airs Sundays on AMC, and we're really looking forward to see more of Carlotta's journey.
Oh, thank you so much. My pleasure.
Thank you again. Bye.
Bye.